Hi, in this video we're going to learn a great way to introduce harmonic movement on a static chord and go from this to this. Hello, welcome to Jazz Guitar Scrapbook. I often think one of the biggest problems with the way we teach jazz today is that we tend to instruct students to play scales that always match with chords. And then we tend to talk a lot about things like avoid notes. This kind of maybe gives the impression that every line must always agree with the underlying chord, that dissonance and tension are somehow mistakes. But in fact, master improvisers have always been adept at using tension and release, even over static chords. People often talk about inside and outside playing when referring to modern stuff, fusion, contemporary jazz, that kind of thing. But today I hope to show you that these modern techniques can be thought of as an extension of basic concepts that go way back to the early days. This is a technique I call weaving. The way this works is you have a tension sound and a release sound. We're going to start with the harmonic minor. So to understand the harmonic minor, we can actually see it as two chords added together. So we can see it as being a minor, in this case C minor for the C harmonic minor, added to a B diminished seventh chord, a half step below the root. Okay, and if we take this through the inversions, at least for the first few steps, we get this nice movement between release, tension, release, tension, release, and then tension, and then it kind of breaks the pattern a little bit after that, so we can come back to the C minor there, right? So if we break these chords up into arpeggios, we get something that sounds like this. Okay, sounds pretty nice. It sounds even nicer if we weave, so we go up and down through the arpeggios. It sounds more like this. If we do it the other way around, so we're going down and then up, it gets a little bit more jumpy, a little bit more tricky at the bottom of the arpeggios. I'll show you how I mean. Jump, 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 and then, or we could go. So let's try that in one go. Let's try that in one go. Something like that. I find that a little bit harder to play. Anyway, a really good example of where they're used in actual music is this lovely head by Lester Young called Tickle Toe. And here's a lick by Lester Young's great rival, Coleman Hawkins. This is one that I learnt from a Barry Harris workshop. Nice. Speaking of Barry Harris, there's probably been a bunch of people shouting at me about the minor sixth diminished scale, and this is a development of this idea. Instead of using a straight C minor chord, we use a C minor sixth instead, and we go up like this. Or in a slightly more practical fingering, perhaps, we can cross the strings a little bit. Okay, and these are all drop two voicings, and it alternates C minor sixth, B diminished seventh, 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 and then C minor sixth again, right? So release, tension, release, tension, release, tension, release, tension, release. These are also called, sometimes called block chording, or at the Berkeley School of Give Me All of Your Money Please, mechanical voicings. Now, there's been loads of videos made about the minor sixth diminished scale, so what I'm going to do right now is just show you one thing that I learned from one of Barry's workshops, which is breaking up these drop two shapes as melodies. It sounds really nice. It's like this. How cool does that sound? So moving away from traditional territory, we can use this approach for modes. And in this, we're kind of thinking less perhaps about tension and release as we were with the harmonic minor, a little bit more about exploring the different sounds of the mode. So we're going to use something called triad pairs. There's been quite a few videos out there on the web about triad pairs, which I'll try and link to. At least I'll link to a good one. And we can find two chords in the mode with no notes in common and alternate them in our lines and comping. So one of the most obvious examples would be if we have F7, we can use obviously an F major for that, but then also an E flat major. And these two chords have no notes in common and describe almost the entire mode, except for one note. In fact, neither of these chords actually have a D in, which is a sixth of the F7 scale. So we call it a hexatonic 6-note scale because basic arithmetic, but that's not so important. Perhaps the most famous example of this in jazz is the John Coltrane version of My Favourite Things, where McCoy Tyner does this for the vamp. But I just wanted to play you this cool little Robin Ford lick from his early playing with Miles Davis. This is kind of the most modern application of this, which is to use inside and outside sounds together. So we're going to take a C minor vamp, you know, this kind of thing. And over this, we're going to play a minor pentatonic, C minor pentatonic. Okay? And then that's going to be our inside sound, and then our outside sound is going to be the minor pentatonic a half step up. If I just practice this as a scale, I can sort of start on a chord tone, so I'll start on C and we'll go up the C pentatonic scale for 4 notes, 1 and 2, and then come down the other scale, which is a D flat minor pentatonic, for 4 notes, and then do another chord tone, which is E flat, third, something like this. And for this example, I'm going to use a whole bar of each, a whole bar of D flat, and then just go backwards and forwards. Release. Tension. Release. Tension. So I'll show you how that works over a backing track. Go as far as we like with this. We can move into doing 7-note scales. For instance, I might want to alternate C minor and G7 alt, for instance. So. Okay, and that creates the same sort of tension-release dichotomy. You can use any scales you want. They don't have to belong to the chord. So I can mix it up. I can do different scales. You can be as creative as you like. And then you can change the rhythm. You don't necessarily have to use like 1 bar on, 1 bar off, or half a bar on, half a bar off. You could use dotted rhythms. Of course, you can play different time signatures, all sorts of things. Set up expectations and then subvert them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you find that interesting and useful. I'll see you on the next one.